welcome back to Age Perfect Beauty. If you're new here, on this channel we discuss all things beauty related for women in the prime of their life. I'm a professional makeup artist and hairstylist with over a decade of industry beauty experience. And if this is the type of information and content that you like to hear about and know more about, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's get into today's video. What I thought I would do today, because spring and summer is, well, I mean, I'm in Toronto, so spring is supposed to be here, but it doesn't feel like it yet. But I know that it's just a matter of time before summer's going to be upon us. And one of those makeup looks that you should always have in your repertoire is a beautiful, bronzy, glowy makeup look. Something you can go to for an evening out in the summer, spring, summer, or even during the daytime where you just want to look fresh and really pretty and put together, but not over the top. This is a makeup look that really works with any kind of skin tone, from the fairest all the way through to the deepest of skin tones. Obviously, you just need to adjust the colors that you use on your face, but you can get this kind of bronzy, glowy look no matter what your age, what your coloring is. But the one thing that's really important to remember is that as you get older, this is the type of makeup look that is youthful. It will always be youthful. So once you've mastered it, you know, you've got one of these looks that you can always go to when you need to have that look or when you want to have that look. So let's get going. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've prepped my skin already with just a light serum, and I just use a Clarins serum that I use on a regular basis. And I also just put on a nice light moisturizer. I wanted to have a moisturizer that gave a little bit of tackiness, but I don't want it to have too much slip on it, too much silicone in it, so that this look ends up coming off quite easily. So I'm looking for something that gives me that moisture and at the same time gives that little bit of tackiness so that I can get my foundation and all the products I'm going to be layering here, I'm going to get them to stick. I'll post everything below as I always do of what I use. So right now all of that's sunk in, and what I'm going to go in with is some strobe cream from MAC. And I've done this in another video, which I may put up here so that you can take a look at it. But I just like putting this in the areas where I want that little extra glow. I don't use this all over my face, and I use it underneath my makeup. I like to build products underneath my makeup if I have the time to in particular. So this is not something you're probably going to want to do every day, but you know, for those times you really want to get that killer glow, that beautiful bronzy killer glow, this would be the way I would go about doing it. So you just give that a second to sink in. Now, what I don't want, especially with this type of look, is to have a heavy foundation coverage. I want to be able to cover my skin. I obviously have quite a bit of red and I've got discoloration going on my skin right now, but I don't want to have a heavy coverage. So I'm going to go in with MAC Face and Body, and you can hear this is quite a runny product, but I really like it. It gives just that little bit of coverage that you need. And I'm just going to apply it with my hands first. And to be honest, I apply a lot of my foundations with my hands. Hands, brush, sponge, I use it all. But you know what? Sometimes your hands are your best tools. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my foundation brush and just buff this out now. Just buff out the edges. Okay, next I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. I just want to go in and kind of cover up these areas that I have that extra discoloration. Usually around my nose, a little bit on my cheeks. This is a pretty common area. I don't know why I ended up breaking out just recently. Wrinkles and zits. I just don't think it's fair, but at any rate, that's what's happened. So I have a little bit of extra covering up I have to do today, I'm afraid. I'm thinking of doing a video on acne issues that women have as they get older. It's not an uncommon thing. I don't suffer excessively from it, but I do know some women who do. Let me know below whether or not you'd like to see a video on how you can deal with acne as you get a little bit older. Is that something that you'd be interested in seeing or hearing more about, learning more about? If so, let me know below. I'd appreciate it. Okay, so we've got that in. Gonna give that just a second to get happy with my skin, get sunk in. You know I like to do that. I've got a little bit of discoloration over here I'm just gonna get to. It's just one of those weeks where my skin is just not behaving itself very much. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody else goes through that, but I do. I just go through weeks where my skin looks really nice, and then other weeks where not so much. Okay, now I want to go in with a highlighter just on the top of my cheekbones. See, we're doing this layering bit here. So we started with that MAC Strobe Cream, then we went in with a nice light foundation. Now I'm gonna add High Beam, okay? I'm gonna add this just on that top cheekbone. The reason why I do it now is because I want to give it time to sink into my skin. I really want it to become one with my skin so that it doesn't look fake. It just looks like a nice sheen, a nice glow from lit from within type look underneath my makeup. And once we've got this done, we can move on to our eye makeup. You can see what I'm doing here? I'm just dabbing this in lightly. I'm just taking my time and making sure that I get this right into the skin. I'm going to be using for my eyes a palette from Bare Minerals, and it's all beautiful. I'll show you in a second. It's all beautiful creamy colors, beiges, browns, and that's really what I want to do here because we want to go for that bronzy glow. So I want to keep everything in that kind of beige, cream, gold, brown type palette, color palette. Okay. So that's in pretty good. It's just got to give itself a few minutes to get into the skin even more and really just sink in so it's not sitting on top of the skin. These kind of products are lovely if you have the time to allow them to absorb into the skin a little bit. I think when you're 20, 25, 30, you know, and you don't have a lot of issues going on with your skin, you don't have a lot of acne and that type of thing, you can pile these products on and, you know, you could see your highlighter from the moon if you wanted to, or from space. But for us, your average woman, we don't really want that. We just want a beautiful sheen. And the older you get, the more you want a sheen, the less you want of that glitter particles that are popping up all over your face. Just is not an attractive look. Makes you look a lot older than you really are. Okay, so I've already primed my eyes with a little bit of eye primer from Inglot, and this is the palette that I'm going to be using from Bare Minerals. It's called their Neutral palette, and you can see these are all very gorgeous neutral colors here. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this pretty color first. It's called Sandstone. This one right here. And I'm just going to apply this all over the lid. I've tried to adjust the way that I have my makeup mirror here. I'm hoping that this is helping you see what I do a little bit better. This I'm just putting all over the lid, up into the crease, but not into the crease. Just on that, what we would call mobile lid. I had a client a while ago say to me, please, when you're doing these videos, will you use words that I understand? And mobile lid is not something I understand. So I'm going to tell you, this is your mobile lid right here. Okay? And I shouldn't use that word. I'm really sorry. I know you told me not to use that word and I just did it. So now I'm just going to blend out those edges. It's the makeup artist in me, what can I tell you? Now I'm going to go in with, I think this nice color right here. It's called, let me see, I haven't got my glasses on. Believer. Believer right here. I'm just going to use a round brush, kind of a creaser brush. I'm just going to add this to the crease area. Keep my eye open and look straight in the mirror so I can see where I'm putting this. As I've mentioned before, I've got eyes that are two different shapes. So I really need to do this. And many of us as we get older need to do this. And I'm just gonna blend. And you see they're very forgiving colors as well. They kind of blend all into each other. Decent pigmentation, but not too much, not too overpowering. And that's really what I want. I want to have something that's quite neutral on the eye right now. Okay. Go in with the other eye. Same thing. Now you'll notice I'm not bringing it all the way in here, all the way in to the tear duct area in my crease. I'm keeping it more on the outer edge. I am bringing it in, but not all the way in. And then I'm just creating a little V shape on the end of my eyelid here. And then blending that out. Now I really like to see my eyeshadow when I'm doing this type of look. If you don't like that, by all means, keep the eyeshadow just a little bit lower. If you have eyelids that are similar to mine where they, one may be a little bit higher or than the other, you got that issue coming where you have a little bit of a hooded eye on one or maybe on both, but on one more than the other, make sure you look straight in the mirror when you're applying your eyeshadow so you can see what you're doing, you can see where it's being placed, and you put it where you want it. You know, I don't mind a little bit of eyeshadow showing, I like it. I'm gonna go in now with this nice light color called, I really need my glasses on for this, Mystic, right? It's a creamy color right here. It's a matte color. I'm gonna go and just put this right on that brow bone. Very, very subtle. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with this color here called Tribe. Right here. And I'm going to go right in the middle of my eyeball here, right on top of it, and just pat that color on. I'm trying to create this glowy, bronzy look on the eye, and then blend it all out. I'm gonna go in with this blue one. It's just I think it's a Rimmel. I've had it for years, blue pencil, and I'm just gonna go on that lash line. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because I'm going to be smudging it in a second. And I'm just going along the lash line with it. I'm not going to bring it out, I'm not going to bring it in too much. I just want to get that little kick of color on the lash line. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and give it a good blend with a blending brush. The buffing brush, really, this one. Just softening it all out. You know, the one consistently important thing to remember when you're doing your makeup as you get a little bit older, you always have to blend, blend, blend. I mean, I'm sure you're probably sick of me telling you this, but you really need to blend all the time. The more you blend, the prettier the look is going to be on you. And you're going to feel like you can carry off more looks if you can learn how to blend properly. So, you know, having the right tools is very important. But you don't need to have the most expensive tools in the world. You just need to make sure that the brushes that you have work well for your eye shape. I find that a lot of my clients will go and buy, you know, a big kit of makeup brushes, and they only use 3 or 4 of them because they're not right for their eye shape or for their face shape. So when you're buying these brushes, invest in ones that are actually right for your eye shape, for your lip shape, for your cheek shape. If you go with a blush brush, for instance, it's really big and you have a little tiny face and little cheekbones, it's going to be overpowering the amount of product that you put on. Same thing with your eyes. So make sure whatever you choose brush-wise works for your eyes. That's why I'm not a big fan of these brush sets that come all together. And, you know, I think we've all been victim to it at one point in our lives, where we've bought them and thought they were a great thing, and then found out later on that it was kind of a waste of money because we don't use them all. Got a hair that's fallen here. Okay, now I am just going to bring this blue liner out just a little. I just want to finish off the line, the makeup line here. Just a smidge. Not looking to have a big wing. My eyes don't suit it. Just to finish it off. Go back in and blend that. So what I like to do is kind of drag that product out and up a little, just to give my eye a little bit of a lift. I'm going to go in underneath my lash line, or on my bottom lash line, and I'm going to use this color here, which is called Native. This one here. And this is just a little wee liner brush. And I'm just going to put that along my bottom lash line. I do not want to be putting blue down here. I think it's overdoing it. I think what we want is just that little hint of that modern color. We don't want to overdo it. So I'm just going to finish off this. If you don't feel comfortable adding any product underneath your eye, you don't have to. I like it because I feel it finishes off my look, my eye, and I like a little bit of a smoky look underneath my eye. It's just my preference. If you don't like that and you like to keep it quite clean underneath, then don't worry, that will work as well. Okay, now before I curl my lashes, I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of concealing. So I really want to get a nice brightness underneath my eye before I start doing all my bronzing. I'm going to go in with my NYX concealer. I'm going to put this on my hand like so. And then I'm going to mix a little bit. This is from IT Cosmetics, called Bye Bye Under Eye Illuminator. I don't like to use this on its own because it's really thick and heavy, and I just don't find, for me, that it works. It just ages me. So what I do like to do though, and you'll find a lot of makeup artists do this, is we like to mix our concealers. So I use a little bit of my NYX and then one tiny wee drop of that illuminator, and then I go in and give it a good old blend, and then I use this underneath the eye. And what this does, it helps to lighten and brighten, but for me, it's not too heavy, too thick. It gives me just the right coverage. Okay, I finished off my eyebrows and I just did a little bit of pinpoint concealing on some of the little areas that I needed to, especially I've got this bloody zit that's come out here, so I had to cover that up. So I'm going to go in and do a quick curl of my lashes here. Okay. And I'm going in with the L'Oreal mascara. Okay, I've added mascara on the top lashes. I did a couple of coats. I'm not going to put anything on my bottom lashes. I want to keep it quite clean underneath. I just added that little bit of, that little dusting of eyeshadow underneath just to finish off my eye. We discussed you don't have to do that if you don't like it. I like it, that's why I did it. Now we're going to get into bronzing and the right technique and how to bronze properly. So I'm going to go in with Hoola Light. I'm obviously quite fair, so I don't need a very dark, in fact, it looks awful on me if I use a dark bronzer or anything that has a really, really orangey undertone. So the deeper your skin tone, obviously, the darker and the deeper that you can go with your bronzings. And I know plenty of women who have deeper skin tones that actually will use bronzing powder underneath their foundation if they have very oily skin. And it helps to counterbalance some ashy issues that they may have as well. So we're talking about a bronze that is going to take a couple of minutes, a bronzing effect, and you need to layer it slowly and slowly, and add it to the right areas. They always say to add it to where the sun would naturally hit you, and I agree with that. But if you're going to do a proper bronze glow, you want it all over your face as well. You just want to kick up these areas just a little bit extra. So I'm going to go in with just a Real Techniques brush, and I'm going to start at my temples and kind of at the top of my hairline here. Then I'm going to bring this down my nose. Then I'm going to go in to the higher parts of my cheek here. Bring it back this way. And you can see this is a process. Now, if you're going to use bronzer day to day and you just want to do a fast bronzing effect, I'm certain that you've seen this before, but it's the three. You do this way and you do this way. The key here is to really make sure you blend it well. That seems to be the common thread, right? Make sure you blend it really well. This particular look, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to blend all over, just making sure that the areas where the sun would hit get a little bit more bronzing than the rest of the face does. And I bring my bronzer all the way down my neck. Depending on what I'm wearing, I may bring it down all the way. And this is why it takes a few minutes to build up your bronzing properly. If you really want to have that beautiful glow, you can't just have your face looking bronzy and the rest of you not looking bronzy. So you've got to make sure that you don't want it to be obvious that you have, an orange neck or anything, but you want to make sure that it all is uniform and that it all translates well all the way through any skin that's exposed. Now, I don't like using, and I wouldn't suggest using bronzers that have a lot of glitter particles to them. You want something that's a matte bronzer. Let the glitter ones be good for, the younger women. You want to stick with a nice bronzing powder. I like this one. It doesn't have that orangey undertone really that a lot of those bronzers have. Even the Hoola, the regular Hoola, it's a lovely bronzing powder. There's a few great ones out there. There's Guerlain does a good one. Makeup Forever does a really good one. This is my favorite again because I am so light. I can build it up slowly in a way that I think suits me and I like and I'm comfortable with. And you can see now I'm just going all over the skin and bringing that right down. This is a nice area right here. This little muscle area here. It looks so good if you're wearing, to get some bronzer on there, if you're wearing any kind of a sleeveless outfit. And you would just keep building this until you get the desired bronze effect that you like. So what I'm going to do now, I may come back to this, but what I'm going to do now is go in with a little bit of blush. I'm going to use a Clinique Rosy Pop, it's called. I really like this color. It's got some vibrancy to it. I need that. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that just on the apple of the cheek here. Just to give that little flush to the skin. And remember, we've got all of these products that we've put underneath, right? That are helping our skin get that nice glow to it as well. So we're not counting on our bronzer to have lots of glitter particles in it to give us that glow, because that takes away and does not look good as you get older because it goes right into your lines and wrinkles. So we're looking for that nice matte bronzer, but slowly building up those little highlighting areas, only in the areas where we want to have a little bit of extra glow. And for me, it's my cheek. I like having a little bit of glow on the cheek. There are some women who don't mind having a little bit down their nose. That's not for me. I don't like it. I like it just on the cheek. Okay. I'm gonna go in one more time with my bronzer. Deepen this up just a wee bit. And for me, if I do get carried away with too much bronzer, I actually look dirty when I'm done. So I think I'm gonna stop here. I like this. What I may do, so I can kind of balance this look out a little bit, is take some of this blush that I was using, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of this on my eyelid, just so I can balance out this look a little bit. It's not gonna be obvious, very subtle. This is a makeup artist trick for sure that I'm teaching you here. This is something we do just to help balance it all out. You don't have to do it. It's what I do. I like it. Now I'm gonna go in with my Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette. You know I love this. Same brush that I used for bronzing. And I'm just gonna go on top of that cheekbone now. Exactly where we added our high beam earlier on. Because now I want to add that glow. Okay. I'm happy with the way my skin is looking right now. I have chosen a lipstick. I've had this for a while. I'm hoping that when I link this down, I can find this for you as well. This is from Chanel, and it's a bronzy, little bit of a pinky undertone, works well with my lip color. I have to say, Chanel lipsticks are ridiculously priced, but they really are the granddaddy of lipsticks in my opinion. You really can't go wrong with a Chanel. So if you can afford it, it's always nice to have a nice luxury lipstick, and Chanel is really, if you're gonna spend the money on a lipstick, that kind of money, it's probably one of the best ones. And here's your final look. Now this was an easy, simple way to achieve a bronzy, glowy makeup look that's ideal for this time of year. It'll take you right through spring and into summer. It's something, as I mentioned before, it's one of these makeup looks you really need to have in your makeup repertoire just so that you can go to it and know that you're always gonna look modern and chic and on trend. It never seems to go out of style. The couple of things you need to remember though is to make sure that you get the right undertone when it comes to your bronzer. I don't like going too deep with my bronzing. If you have deeper skin and you have the right undertone, by all means you can go darker. Just make sure that you work it into the skin. You take the time to develop the color all the way through your skin. I know for daytime, if you want to go fast and just do that 3 that I was describing, that will work for you. But if you really want that all over bronzy kind of glow, make sure you stick with mattes, make sure you build the glow underneath your skin, and make sure you build it all over the skin. In any areas where you have skin that is showing, make sure that that has a little bit of color to it as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you did, please let me know below. I'd really appreciate it. I really appreciate you watching this and subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Age Perfect Beauty.